Welcome to the Nobody Knowz podcast with Callie Zamzo. Join us for conversations with local changemakers and hear the stories that don't always get told. It'll be honest, messy and beautiful, touching and humorous. Slow down, pour a glass, and pull up a chair. This is the Nobody Knowz podcast.
Welcome to Nobody Knowz. I'm your host, Callie Zamzo. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I'm glad that you're listening in. I'm excited about today's guest. Before I get going on that, I want to thank our sponsor, Zamzo's. And I have a quick tip of the week for you. Zamzo's, we have a tendency to do these free classes for various things. And this upcoming Saturday, March 7th, 2026, in case you're listening in the future, we will be having our lawn class. But even if you've been before, sometimes there's new things that come up and reminders that sometimes we forget. We'll be talking about the various different types of turf. So if you're thinking about planting a lawn, we can help you with that. We'll be talking about fertilizer basics on like kind of how you do it and when you do it and why you do particular applications. We talk about nitrogen types and the runoff impact that happens with that. And that's for anybody who's concerned about the Boise River and all of our wonderful water that we have here in Idaho. We talk about soil pH and some of our proprietary products and how those work. And of course, weeds and insects and all the disease prevention things. And many, many other things, including watering, which I think could be an issue this year. We'll have to see. Anyway, it's going to be a great class. So it will be at 10 a.m. this Saturday, March 7th, 2026, and it is at all of our 12 Zamzo's locations. So there's your tip of the week. I hope to see you there. I usually show up to one or more of them, so come say hi. Okay, so today I'm kind of prepared for this guest because there's a storytelling component, and it got me thinking about my childhood. That's how so many of my stories start. But I was thinking about the fact that most of the lessons that I learned came through stories. The Zamzo family, big storytellers. And so I was like, well, what's a good story? And the only one that could pop in my head was my father and my brother and I were trying to hang a rope from a very tall limb to create a swing in our backyard. And my dad had decided that he would tie a small string onto an arrow and then shoot the arrow up and over the branch. And then obviously we could tie that string to a rope and then pull the rope over and then we could create this swing. Okay, we love the idea, but he's got these two young kids. I was probably, I want to say 7, and my brother then would be 9. And so we were pretty young, and he was shooting an arrow up and over. And he really wanted us to kind of stay back. And so he told this story. He said, kids, there was a kid in my class in high school who shot an arrow up in the air, and he was going to catch it when it was coming down, and it stabbed him in the eye and took his eye out. And it was so on a day that we were going to be creating a swing, and it was such a traumatic story. Like, I've been afraid of bows and arrows ever since. Like, it's one of those funny things. But I was thinking about how the stories, but man, he got it into our heads. Like, we were completely away from it, and he got the message through. And I was thinking about how that's what stories do. They just cement things for us, and they explain things, and they're just wonderful. So with that, I want to welcome our guest, Jessica Holmes. She's the co-founder of Story Night, and she's also Associate Creative Director at Stoltz. So welcome to the studio.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here.
Oh, gosh, I feel like this has been a little while coming because as long as I've known about Story Night, I've wanted to be a part of it. And it's such a stroke of genius and such a wonderful thing that you created. And I cannot wait to have this conversation and hear some stories from you. Before we do you want to just kind of give us just a little background on you, a little, quick who you are?
Sure. Well, I was an English major in college, but I've always been fascinated with books and stories. So my whole career has been in advertising, and I've we're called creatives in this world, which is the best title in the world, I think. And I have also been interested in performance quite a bit. So I, started Story Night 16 years ago, and I've also tried my hand at stand-up comedy and other weird endeavors. So
Okay, you did not try your hand at start. Weren't you one of you were like the first funniest person in Boise, right?
Yes,
is that correct?
Yes. I did a stand-up comedy competition to kind of dip my toes in, and
So
it was
awesome.
a wild ride. Thank you.
For somebody who's never done stand-up, that seems so intimidating.
It was. Did I want to do it? Not really. One of my stand-up comedian friends kind of forced me into it.
Wow.
But it was worth it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I learned so much.
Well, now you've got a title that no one can take away from you.
Yeah, I love that title.
It's pretty great.
OG funniest person, yeah.
Yes. It's awesome. So great.
Thank you.
Okay, so for anybody who doesn't know what Story Night is, will you kind of describe what it is and like, yeah, maybe just start from scratch.
Great. Yeah, at Story Night, we tell true stories on a theme, live on stage and without notes. And that involves featured storytellers who tell about 10-minute stories that we help prepare and train them for. And also an open story slam. So people who come to the show can just drop their name in a hat, and we randomly draw them, and they come up on stage and tell a 5-minute story on the theme spontaneously. So it's a really good mix of like a little bit practiced and a little bit raw and magical.
Was this completely your idea, or did you kind of had another person help you with it? What?
I'm a co-creator of Story Night. So we had someone from Alley Repertory Theater. That is, that theater company is still going strong, and then someone from Boise State as something called the Story Initiative, and then we also involved the Cabin. So it was kind of 4 different people coming together and creating this program.
Very cool.
Yeah.
How did it begin?
I had been fascinated with live storytelling for a while. I really loved, there's this writer named David Sedaris who used to go on stage and read his stories in New York. So I was fascinated by that. And also The Moth, if you've heard of The Moth.
I have, yeah.
That was going strong even back then. And they were just starting to expand into other cities. So they had just gone from New York to LA, but those were the only 2 cities they were in. So our initial idea that I brought to these people, I was like, we should bring The Moth to Boise. And The Moth was like, we're not interested.
What?
Why should we come to Boise? So we ended up just starting our own program, which I think was even better because The Moth does themed nights that involve only slam stories, and it involves like a winner and a prize. And I think Story Night is even better with the featured storyteller story slam thing, and like no competition. To me, it makes it even better. So.
So can you tell me about like the very first Story Night?
Yeah, the very first Story Night was totally magical because some of the people that I co-created this with, they were like, we're not sure how popular this will be, so let's put out like 30 chairs and see how we go. So before the show started, we were in the Linen Building upstairs at that point. Before the show started, we looked out the window and there was a line all the way down the block. And we just frantically started setting up more chairs. And even that first night, it was sold out the very first time. And it was just such a magical evening. Like, people were really raw and really vulnerable. And you could feel, to me, like sometimes when the storytelling is really, really good, I can sort of feel it in the air. Like it feels like energy. And you could feel it that night. It was just instant. It was an instant hit. So we were just sold out after that. We moved downstairs to the Linen Building so we could fit like 200 plus people, and sold out for years, to be honest. Yeah.
What does it feel like when because I think sometimes when we're creative, we don't know yet, right? We're like, okay, I think this sounds cool. This is a thing. And then when you actually create it, many times nobody picks up what you're putting down.
Right.
But what does it feel like when they do in like as much as they did? Like, I mean, Huge.
Nothing feels better. You know, it was so much work getting this even off the ground. So it took 6 months of planning and work and creating this story night brand and websites and promotions. But when it just took off like that, it just felt right. You know, everything feels like so aligned and like you're in the slipstream of some sort of magic. So, yeah.
Love it. Where did you come up with the name?
Story Night. It was one of our co-founders, Clay Morgan. He's a writer. He's the husband of Barbara Morgan, who was launched into space.
Yes.
So he came up with Story Night. You know, Starry Story Night, Story Night. It's such a great name. It was an instant like love for all of us.
Yeah. It's perfect.
It is. It's so good.
Yeah. It's wonderful. So obviously from the get-go, people leaned into it, and then it has endured, like, holy cow, has it endured?
Yeah.
And it's still, so what do you think that's about? Is that about Boise, do you think? Is that just about like how it's put on? What do you think? Why do you think it has the longevity that it has?
Yeah, I think it really like hit a nerve even when we started. I think it was 2010. And it was the beginning, sort of the early stages of social media and stuff, and a little bit more distance that people had with real life. I think it's because we come together and we look each other in the eyes and we tell our stories, and it feels different than anything else out there. It's not like watching a movie or a play. It's like this connection forms that you can't really find anywhere else, except for in your friend groups when you're sitting around a fire. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We have moments, right, where it's like, that was it. Or, you know, we'll leave something, we're like, okay, that was special.
Yeah.
And sometimes when we're in it, we don't even know until we walk away from, like, oh.
Right.
So that brings me to that point. Like, when you think about all these people that come, and sometimes they're the storytellers, sometimes they're an audience member, and they're just listening to these and connecting. What do you hope that people will walk away from Story Night feeling?
Well, I tell the storytellers that we train that they're going to leave people not with their complete story, but they're going to leave people with a feeling and an emotion. So I think that's what our themes are all about, like trying to hone in on that emotion. But the feeling, and also they come away with like a mental image. So usually you remember like one searing moment of that story and then a feeling that's connected to it. So I think that people walk away from a really good show with all of these different images and a really strong emotion. And really it's the emotion of the human experience. But nobody would say that besides me.
I totally feel that.
Yeah.
I totally feel that. I live for those moments, you know.
Right.
It's that where you're like, okay, that's the crux of life right there. It's the connection with other humans and the feeling of somebody else's feeling and connecting with stories.
Yeah.
The fun thing for me when I think about stories is they're never ending because they're constantly being created. I mean,
Right.
we're creating one right now. I'll tell my husband when I leave here what we talked about, and it'll be my story. And, you know, I love that we'll never run out of them.
No. And it's so cool because so many stories, there's like the universal experience that we have, but when you go down to individual stories, they're so particular and so specific to that person and how it shaped them, you know. And I've always lived my life by the belief that there's no bad thing that could happen to you, because usually the worst things are what creates the best stories. So when you get through to the other side, you have a great story. Yeah.
Yeah, it's sort of unfortunate.
I know. I always think awkward is one of the best themes.
Yes.
Because those moments create great stories. Yeah.
It is. My daughter's in college. She was home for Christmas break, and we had all these conversations about, and she's in performing arts, and, you know, she's like, it's very intimidating to do performing arts in New York City. You know, she's like, I'm just this Idaho gal, and there's these super talented people, and I just keep reminding, and lots of times where she, you know, it feels like she messed up or wasn't good enough or whatever. And I said, just collect those. Those are your story. That's like, someday this is it's going to mean something. You're going to be able to share it with other people. And I'm not sure she appreciated that, but
Okay, that's good advice. It really is. Nobody appreciates it in the moment. They're
No.
like, no, this is horrible.
no. And, it's hard for me because she's the greatest thing since sliced bread as far as I'm concerned. Like, I think she's the best thing ever. And, obviously I'm not in New York City amongst millions of people trying to do the same thing. And I get it. What she's doing is very challenging.
Right.
But I do see something unique. I mean, I guess I do that with everybody. You meet somebody and you can see, oh, this is a spark there. This is something that's interesting. And usually it comes from stories. It comes from things, what they've gone through and what they're willing to share.
Absolutely. And it's not about living our lives perfectly or doing everything perfectly. It's about our imperfections and those moments that take us by surprise that are actually the best.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, unfortunately.
I know. It's hard. This life is not easy to get through.
Exactly. So let's say that we have somebody listening right now who's like, well, I don't have any stories. I don't. What would you say to that person?
First of all, I would say everybody says that. And I used to say that too at the beginning of every month. We would have a theme and I would be like, I don't have any stories for this theme. And then over the course of that month, I'd think, oh, but there was this and this and this. So I always tell people to look at their turning points and their surprising moments. Like when is a time in your life that you weren't expecting, that took you by surprise and that maybe shaped you and changed your perspective? Those moments are great stories, and it kind of doesn't matter what the theme is sometimes for those really great stories that you have. Like you can pick the details that will make it fit the theme, usually with the way you shape the beginning and the end, but that turning point moment is what really matters.
Oh, now my brain's going.
Oh, good. I can't wait to hear your story. Stories.
So where do you think, because you are a very creative person, and it's not just with Story Night, you're creative, you sort of live creative. I mean, you're dressing creative, like you're just a creative person. Where do you think that comes from?
Well, I think when I was younger and I would get assignments that I didn't really want to do in school, I would always think, what would make this interesting to me? So how can I execute it in a way that I am actually interested in? And I find that to be the trick, especially with advertising. Like people actively ignore advertising. They don't want to consume it. They don't want to hear, see, do anything with it. But if you can make them interested, and if it can hit a core truth in them, like it's sort of the same magic as storytelling, I think. So I think it just started there, and then I just kept developing it and kept wanting to see things that were more beautiful and more interesting and more, fun.
I love that.
Yeah.
I think there's a part of me that squelches my creativity on occasion, because I feel like creativity is fun and it's light and life's serious sometimes.
It is.
But then I'm reminded sometimes when I'm able to creatively solve a problem, for instance, I'm like, no, creativity is it. You don't have to squelch. It's not a bad thing. It's a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
And it's also not I don't know why fun always kind of seems to, get a bad rap. Like you gotta be serious sometimes,
Right.
So I don't know why that's built into me, but I love creativity and I love being around creative people and that energy. And how fun is it when you're brainstorming and then, people adding to people adding, and all of a sudden you're like, you come up with this idea and it's awesome. It's so fun.
Yeah, it feels like magic. And I think creativity is really problem solving, and great creatives just solve problems in really unexpected and unusual ways. And it just makes you like look at that thing again in a fresh light. And believe me, I deal with this a lot because people come to us in advertising with really serious business problems, and they want to see like ROI and KPIs and a bunch of other acronyms, and merging those desires with something that will actually stand out it's not easy, but it's so fun and so rewarding. So, and then we get there in the end. You get to those ROI KPIs acronym things.
Love that.
Yeah.
That's so great.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're exactly right. As you were saying that, I'm like, oh yeah, there's that. We definitely go into that realm, and you almost have to briefly set all those acronyms aside.
You do.
Although, because it almost squelches the creativity when you do that, when you are immediately going there for that, because the world is. I mean, it's loud right now. There's lots of things being thrown at us, and lots of, and most of it is impersonal. Most of it is just kind of, throwing darts at, I was going to say a dartboard, but I don't think that's what I was doing. Anyway, you know what I'm saying? They're, hoping that something sticks.
Right.
Maybe it's spitballs. What is it that you throw against a wall to make it noodles? Okay, whatever. Anyway, you know what I'm saying.
I love the spitball idea. I'm just picturing it plastered on the wall behind you.
Yeah.
People don't do spitballing enough.
No, clearly not. Clearly not. Oh my gosh. So this is funny. I'm going to stop for a second and quickly tell you a story. It's not my story. It's my dad's story. But apparently when they were kids, they would go to the Egyptian theater and they would bring straws and spitballs. And there was some like a chandelier or something that was up above that maybe had maybe paper. Anyway, I don't know what, but anyway, it was up there and they would be shooting spitballs. And when he would tell me that story, I'm like, how gross. Why would you do that?
The poor person who had to clean that.
Exactly.
Kids are the most creative, but often in destructive ways. So
This is true.
You got to harness it.
I think sometimes I'm a Gen Xer, and I think sometimes at Gen X, we were raised. I mean, we just raised ourselves out on that. But
I'm Gen X too, so I get
okay,
it.
yeah. But then you go to our parents' level, and it's a totally different level of chaos that they did. I mean, my dad still has a pellet in his fanny from being shot by one of his neighbors just in a fun gunfight they were having with real guns. Yeah, and it's still in there. He's still in there. Anyway,
that's amazing.
There you go. Okay, we really digress. Okay, here we go. All right, so let's talk about your fashion blog.
Ooh, I love talking about my fashion blog.
I am so intrigued by it. So I went on it and to look, and it is incredibly unique.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, it's very cool. So tell me what caused you to decide to do that?
I started that when in 2008 when the whole economy kind of fell through.
Okay.
So it's been an over decade long creative endeavor of mine, and I was just really looking at the world in a lens of how can we consume less but enjoy more. So I started thrift store shopping, which I think is a wonderful creative pursuit because it's sort of like life. You see all of this stuff just that looks like junk, and then you have to sort through it and find the gems in there. And then I always name my outfits something dumb and funny usually, and take pictures in a place that inspires me in some way. So to me, it's about this celebration of place and the celebration of that search for meaning, even if that meaning is just in a great wool sweater that's Italian, or some wonderful silk dress from the 1960s that you found for $5 or something like that. Yeah.
That's the cool thing. I think, it is like a treasure hunt, right? You go and you have to go through a lot. Sometimes you go, I do this with my daughter, and sometimes you're like, this was a huge day. We got 6 items or whatever,
right? It feels so good. It's so rewarding, and it's so cheap.
Yes, it's wonderful. But I think there's a difference. And I was talking with Laura Tully. I don't know if you know who she is. She's a stylist, but I was talking to her about that, and just the fact that when you're thrifting, you're really looking for that thing. And so number one, it has to have that style that you like. You put it on and it has to fit. And there's usually one of them. It's not like there's 7 of them in a store where you can decide what's, so when you find something that is the right fit, you like the way it looks on you. It's, maybe got some other fun little side thing about it that makes you excited. It's huge. And then really by the time it ends up in a thrift store, you're probably not going to find anybody else who's got the same thing, which makes it very unique.
Right.
And so it's fun.
And you get to draw from a lot of different eras, and maybe find stuff that you could never afford if it was brand new,
Absolutely.
So it's so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I found some shoes one time. and I bought them despite the fact that clearly the person had worn them near a fire.
Oh,
so they were a little like partially melted, but they were, and I forget what they were, but they were a brand that I never could have ever afforded, like something ridiculous. I can't, and I don't even know if they sell them in Boise, Idaho. Like this was a while ago, and I was like, I gotta say that I have these shoes, and I wore them. People were like, what's going on with that shoe? Don't look at that. These are, I wish I knew the brand name too. It'd be so much better if I actually knew the brand name. But anyway, it was something, some so fancy brand that, yeah.
Anyway. I love that. One time I found these Ferragamo suede boots at the youth ranch for $40, and I love those boots.
So great.
I wore them to dust, yeah.
It's awesome. So awesome. What's the best find was that maybe it? Like, what's the best find?
Well, every new find is my best find. So the sweater that I'm wearing now is my recent best find. It has a kind of a Modigliani like painting sort of looking thing on the back, and it's vintage and Italian, and it's real wool. I just love it so much. So I've been wearing it all the time. But
part of what when I buy something that belonged to somebody else, who it may have belonged to several somebody else's. You don't know the history of it. Yeah. Do you in your mind at all kind of wonder, like, I wonder who had this first, or I wonder who bought it first, and when they bought it, and where they bought it, and
and what kind of awesome woman were they? I was like, I'm just wearing someone's just badassery, you know?
Yes.
'Cause usually like the stuff that I find and that I like to wear are just eccentric, wonderful dresses usually, and I'm like, whoever wore this must have been so cool, you know? So I feel like I'm just wearing somebody else's like coolness. Yeah.
I love that.
It's really great. Yeah. And I feel like it's kind of paying homage to our history, you know?
It absolutely is.
Because a lot of the really good stuff that you find, you know, is made in the U.S. by a seamstress union, and it really it's really powerful to recognize the past, the way people made clothes so well, you know?
Yeah, if they're lasting.
They're good.
They were made well, right?
Right.
Oh, yeah, you've got my brain going all over.
We should go thrift store shopping.
I would love that.
It's so fun. I'm really fast at it now.
I would love that because I do struggle. Well, first of all, I'm still kind of working through body issues. I'm recovering. I'm being kind to myself, which my daughter constantly is like, Mom, let's try that statement again that you just said about your butt.
I like your daughter.
How can we reframe that so that it's kind to my mother? Start over again.
What a sweetie. I love her.
She's my biggest fan, and I am hers. Yeah, it's really great.
Love that.
Okay. So this may be, I suspect, a little awkward for you, just because you're so.
I'm the champion of awkwardness. I really am.
You're so down to earth, and you don't seem full of yourself at all. And so, but can we talk about some of the awards that you've won?
Oh,
I can name them, and you can tell me about each one. How about that?
Okay.
Okay. So, you are a fellow Idaho Business Review Accomplished Under 40.
Yes, that felt really good.
Yeah.
I was like, when I got it when I was 31, I was like, yes, I am under the wire.
I think I might have been closer. I might have been like 48 or 40. No, I mean 38, right?
Oh, okay. I was like, they cheated for you.
Yeah, wait. Like if it's under 40, Callie, I'm not great at math. However,
you lie on the form now. You look young.
Now that I'm 50, like anything below seems really youthful.
I know.
There's something about a certain age where like there's whole globs of just time where you're like, oh, well, we're all about the same age.
Yeah, right? That's what you hope. And then they're like, I'm 28. Like everyone in my ad agency is like, I'm 33. I'm like, okay.
Oh, that's great. When I was going through my pregnancy classes with my daughter, and I was a later aged, and although I don't think it's that much. I think I had my daughter when I was 31, so I wasn't like super old.
So young.
And so I was in these classes, and I went to work at one day, and one of the people at work was kind of asking me about it, and she was like, "So, you know, are you all about the same age?" And I was like, "Yeah, I think we're actually all right there together." And then let it go. Well, then we all had our babies, and we had a reunion so we could all meet our babies. And it came out that the person who was next closest in age to me was 10 years younger than me. And I thought we were all the same age.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That is so young.
Yes.
Oh, my
yeah.
gosh.
So these were like, I think there was 19, 20, and 21.
Okay.
And I was 30 and I thought they're 31 or whatever. And I thought we were the same age.
Oh, well, gosh. I think everyone looks the same age between their 20s up until 40, and then something happens.
I'm not sure what. Gravity.
Yeah,
Gravity
right.
takes over certain body parts. Something happens. All right. Well, RK. Well, congratulations on that award.
Thank you.
Okay. Then we talked about the fact that you won the inaugural Boise's Funniest Person.
Yeah, that was
which
wild.
had to have been an amazing experience.
It was wild. Yeah. It was a 1 month competition, and every week we went from 20 people telling 3-minute sets to 10 people telling 5-minute sets to 5 people telling 7-minute sets to like the final competition. So it just kept getting harder and longer. So yeah, winning that was a shock. Yeah.
Well, and you got it. Like, if your first one gets you through, then you're like, oh, well, that was all my funny stuff. Now what am I?
I know. No, it's true. And then you have to build, like, comedy is so hard because you instantly have to give people a sense of who you are through in a way that they just laugh continuously like that. It's so hard. Stand-up comedy is the hardest thing I've ever done. And so the way that I opened is I just stared at someone in the audience for an awkwardly long period of time before I said anything. And then I said, I'm totally hitting on you. That was the way I've always flirted. Yeah. This intense, awkward staring.
That's awesome.
I know. And then I went to a string of jokes about my bad dating experiences. And since I had been doing story night for so long, I picked the theme for myself. I'm like, the thing I want people to take away from me is awkward. So I just had every joke was the most awkward thing I could think of, and it worked. Yeah.
That's awesome. And when you have to let your ego go a little bit to do that kind of stuff. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I have a friend who was, and I don't know what year it was, around 2000, I want to say, Mel Hopkins is her name, and she won one year.
Oh, cool.
And in like one of her, I think she asked me to go to one of the finalist ones, and she had just house sat for us. And so we went to it, and all of her jokes were about our house and all the crazy shit in our. Yes, it was the funniest. I was laughing so hard. She was laughing about our squatty potties that we have, like one in every like, and it was hilarious.
Everyone needs a squatty potty.
Oh my gosh!
How unfair.
Yeah, I know. It was so funny. It was, and then I was like I was honored. I was like, wow, look at that. She,
I know,
laughed at all of our quirky stuff in our house.
That's cool.
It's fair.
You can't say that about everybody who's had stand-up jokes made about them.
No,
They're
that's
usually
true.
like, could you not talk about the deepest recesses of our relationship?
Right, exactly. Well, it was kind of fun too because I think she may have said something to me like, "Do you mind if I
That's the way to
use
do it."
And I was like, "Sure, whatever." And then when she invited me, she didn't say, "Hey, by the way, this is the set that has all the jokes about you." So yeah, so she delivered it flawlessly. She knew I was in the audience. I'm
super impressed that she was able to people that can come up with jokes based on their daily life. They're my favorites.
I feel the same way.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
it is.
They're fun to be around too.
They are.
Yeah.
They're just like, oh, you see that in such an interesting way.
Yes. Yeah. She's one of my good friends. I very much so enjoy being around her. She's a good person. Okay. This is my favorite one. So, best invitee to your next cocktail party.
Yeah, that one's good.
I didn't even know that was an award.
I think it was a special designation. So it was in the Best of Boise issue, the month after I won Boise's Funniest Person, and they were just like, this girl. Invite her to your cocktail parties. But the thing is, I feel like nobody invited me to their cocktail parties. I feel like it did nothing for my actual cocktail party street cred. So,
do people still have cocktail parties? Is that a thing?
I don't know. They should.
Okay, I'm gonna throw one of those together.
Okay, good. Yeah, invite me.
We'll make that happen,
please.
That's awesome. So, how are you with receiving awards?
I mean, you never expect it, but it feels real, real good. Mm-hmm. And you probably wouldn't know any of this about me if I didn't stop repeating it on like my websites and stuff. So, yeah, I really do like awards, but you never expect them or go after them. I think At least I don't.
Yeah.
So that's why they're all in the past. Yeah.
Yeah. I think they can be validating.
They are.
And sometimes the surprise of it all is it can kind of take you back. Like, oh, I didn't realize you saw me that way. And so there's just something kind of nice about that when somebody outside does that. And
yeah, it's really special because I always, I was a very shy kid. Like I barely talked to anybody through all of my schooling. And so it was just, it's just an amazing way. Like it showed me my own transformation sort of, just to open the weekly and be like, oh, okay. I have evolved, but not at all. Yeah. It's still awkward and now it's winning awards. Yeah.
So let's talk to that person who's listening. Their mom's probably listening and they're having to listen in the backseat of the car because the mom's got it on now. And so they're being forced and they hear that and they say, well, that kind of sounds like me. I don't say much. I don't, but how did she get to be so cool? What would you say to that person?
I would say the very things that you think make you uncool are actually the things that are shaping you in the moment, and you will grow into yourself and you will grow into those stories, and eventually you'll be able to talk about who you really are to other people in a way that will resonate. Like I believe that for everybody. So maybe you won't be winning a stand-up comedy competition, but you will be connecting in real ways and living the life that you're supposed to through the way that all your weirdness shaped you. Yeah.
That's a great answer.
Thank you.
My little girl could have, like me, myself, as a little girl could have used hearing that, I think.
Right. Because I think when we're young, we're like, I just want to be popular.
Yeah.
I just want to be perfect.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and I can't, like now I look at, especially girls, but growing up, there's so much that's coming at you of perfection and how things should be and trying to fit into that, particularly while your body is changing and you're learning as fast as you humanly can. And I don't mean to put all girls down, but girls can be real assholes. We can be real mean, and there's a period of age where it's hard. It's really hard. Yeah. And especially if you don't feel like you fit in or like or you feel like you're weird or there's something a little different about you.
Right.
And then you pass through and like, that's the greatest thing. Like those are the people I want to be around, you know?
Absolutely. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't love the perfect people who do everything right. You're
right.
like, oh, please, let me just BS with my friend over here.
Yeah. And you don't get to know those people. The perfect ones,
no,
they've got a facade on and so you don't get to know them. And that makes me sad too.
I know. And I've been thinking a lot lately about AI and the perfection of AI. And how important there's this Japanese term called wabi-sabi, which means the imperfection of something that makes it so beautiful. And I think that will rise to the surface even more now, because the imperfection of the way somebody looks will be what makes them stand out from all these plastic images people are seeing. And the imperfection in the way that we speak and the way that we tell a story, it's what makes something interesting. So yeah, that to me is the way forward.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's very hopeful. Yes.
It is. It's very human.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Exactly. That's well said. I think that's the crux of it right there.
Right.
Well, let's take this moment to thank our sponsor, Zamzows. This episode of Nobody Knowz is brought to you by Zamzows, your local source for garden, pet, and planet-friendly products. At Zamzows, we believe the stories we share and the places that we gather and grow matter, whether it's cultivating a healthy garden or building a community where people feel connected. Visit zamzows.com or stop by one of our 12 Treasure Valley locations.
Nobody knows like Zamzows.
My heart swells when we have conversations like this.
Right.
And you know what I want to do is I want to shout it from the rooftops. There's been a few podcasts like this where there've been moments when I'm like, every woman needs to hear this and feel it and love themselves and know that they are loved. And
yes.
there is pain and suffering in the world. And I think there are little things that can sometimes alleviate that. And I love things like that. And I hope somebody is listening and feeling this, you know?
Right. And I think that's what Story Night's all about too. It's just about feeling more human and more connected to other people through empathy and through what people have gone through, including yourself. Because you always reflect, when you hear those stories, you always reflect on how has my life been shaped, you know?
Yeah.
And what parallels can I draw between what I've gone through and what this person has gone through? So it's really about this human connection. I think that's so vital.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Well, so if there, great transition, Callie. I'm feeling so many things right now. I'm just like herky jerky. It's just, this is a lovely conversation.
Oh, thank you. I love it.
Yeah. I do too. I want to be your friend, and I want to hang out, and I want to do creative things with you.
Let's do. Please.
It's wonderful. It's great to just talk with you and kind of,
thank you. You too.
And feel how you do things. Do you surround yourself with creative people, or do you kind of try to balance it out with people that like are more nuts and bolts?
Oh gosh, I'm always like, I need to marry a type A person who has a set routine, because it is a little bit hard being so type B,
Yeah.
But I do have a lot of really creative friends, and I've done a lot of projects with my friends that have been super rewarding. So
I married a type A the second time around.
Lucky.
He's phenomenal.
Right.
And I don't even think he knows how phenomenal he is. But for me and all the crazy, for me, he lines the blocks up.
That's exactly what I want. Yeah.
So
Line
great.
my blocks up. Please.
And he he made that sound really dirty.
I
Love it. Clint's going to appreciate that too. All right. How about we take a transition into the sharing is caring portion of this conversation.
Okay.
This is sort of rapid fire questions. So are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. First question. How about a storyteller, a writer, or a creative who has influenced you?
The first person who comes to mind is a comedian named Maria Bamford. She is hilarious. She tells really vulnerable, amazing jokes using a lot of wild voices. She's so fantastic, and it's been great to watch her just develop from the time she became popular when she was in her 30s, and now she's in her mid-50s, and just to see her growth as a person and her dealing with all the hard things that she's dealt with in the most hilarious way. I just love her.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so what's her name again?
Maria Bamford.
Okay. All right.
Gotta look her up. Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
All right. How about a book, an idea, or a quote that shapes how you think about storytelling?
Well, I feel like one of the biggest influences for me with storytelling is a writer named David Sedaris. I just feel like his stories are perfectly written. They usually have a clear theme, but it's not so like moralistic. It's more just humorous. All of his books are amazing, and it's been amazing to watch him develop too from the time he became popular in his early 40s to now, because his life, it's a constant mine of gold,
People like that are such a gift, aren't they?
They are. Yeah.
So great. All right. How about something outside of work that brings you joy or keeps you grounded?
Well, I love walking in the foothills. I love thrift store shopping. I would say those two things.
Yeah. I get that.
Yeah.
Both.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for similar reasons, I think.
Yeah, they kind of clear your mind, and they're kind of aimless, but you have a path.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I agree. I love that answer. Okay. Now it's time
Okay.
for the one question that we ask everybody at the end.
Oof.
There are no rules. This is a no rules kind of a thing. So you can answer it however you like.
Okay, fantastic.
So, what is something that nobody knows?
Okay. So I've thought about this a little bit because I have mined my entire life for things that I can tell on stage, and usually, so everything that most people would have be a secret has turned into like a joke usually or a story. So there's not that much that nobody knows. But I thought of one thing. So I had an occasion to meet with John Pryor, who was the lawyer for Chad Daybell. You know, that serial killer,
Yes.
the Mormon serial killer. And so we had a moment together. And when he found out I knew who he was just got really excited, and he pulled me into a back room and he just started laying all the hot goss about what Chad Daybell was thinking and like what he thought about the whole trial, and just like amazing stuff. So like 20 minutes in, I was like, this is a really good story. And his head snaps over to me and he was like, what do you know about stories? Because he had no idea who I was. So I explained to him about Story Night, and he was like, I'm cutting this out. You cannot tell anybody about this. And goodbye. And good day, ma'am. Yeah.
Good day.
Good day. So I can't tell anybody the details, but nobody knows that story. Yeah.
That's amazing.
It was cool. I was super excited.
And you've got all these things inside your brain now. You know these things.
I know the inside view. It was fascinating.
That's delicious.
Right?
That's good stuff right there.
It is.
I love that answer. And I'm so curious.
I know.
Do you drink? I don't drink, but do you? Could I get you really drunk and see if we can?
Sometimes. Oh, yeah. Give me some glasses of champagne and let's...
Then I'll start mining the details at that point.
All right, great.
Hey, listen, you said something one time, ... This has been a wonderful conversation.
Yeah,
You're
too.
so fun. You're creative. Your energy is contagious. I feel just overjoyed just having spent some time with you this morning. So thank you.
It's been a joy to hear your stories too.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, mine are a little wacky, but
No, I love them.
so if people wanted to, if they want to follow Cheap, it's Cheap, right?
Yeah.
That's So you kind of give those details, like how people, if they want to get a hold of you or learn more about Story Night, could you kind of give that quick rundown of how people can find you?
Yeah, you can follow Cheap on, it's called Cheap It Up, and you can spell it cheap as in that doesn't cost very much money, or cheap like the bird, which is what I call it. And then Story Night, storystorynight.org. It's a fantastic program. They usually have shows every month, so come to the next one.
I think I will.
Oh, good. I love it.
Yes. Jessica, thank you. I appreciate your time today. And thank you for living in Boise, Idaho, so that we can all enjoy the fruits of your labor.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
It's been a joy to be here.
If you enjoyed today's episode, please follow the podcast and leave a review. Next week, we'll hear from another incredible voice shaping the Treasure Valley. Until then, thanks for listening.